step I strode and knelt before the man. There I spoke
Done.
it all.
Hello, people.
Big Boss, it's so good to see you again.
Likewise, good sirs. Likewise.
Can you come live in Utah, please?
Maybe.
I'm not hearing a no.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, East Coast gang, thank you for showing up.
Yes.
And Big Boss, thank you for joining us remotely from
West Coast gang.
West Coast gang. I don't know if Utah is considered Midwest or
We're
I always
Mountain
consider us West.
just west.
Just West. Okay, let us proceed. So, I figure maybe we'll just go ahead and chat with each other about some things that might be interesting to chat about. And in the meantime, if there's any Q&A questions, that kind of thing, you can hit those when we finish. So, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, pop them down in the chat. Prost! I've got my 5-gallon Home Depot bucket of Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. They didn't have anything smaller.
It's classy.
It's classy. I've got my 7-Eleven Slurpee mug of champagne beer here. Yeah, Victor comments on the Principium shirt. That was a coincidence. Funny. Yes, I've got my my Principium shirt on. Long live the P.
The P.
Oh,
The P.
PP.
Long P. All right. So Mile High Power Fest. That's probably a good place to start. August 24th in Denver, Colorado.
Any Denver people here?
The Denver gang. Now, would they be Midwestern? So the Midwest starts. Where does the Midwest start?
Midwest is not describing the middle western part of the U.S. It's like the Midwest part of Earth.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It's the
Like
middle
you got the
west
Middle
part of
East,
the Earth.
you got the Middle East over there, and then you got the Middle West.
Oh, okay. Are you serious?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
The Midwest.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't believe you, but that's a really funny idea.
Because if you think about it, like Illinois and like Wisconsin are Midwest. Like that is Midwest right there. And like Minnesota,
Minnesota.
that's
Florida.
It's the Midwest in
That
the
is
same
the
way
Midwest.
that the Middle East is the Middle East.
right.
I don't
If
know
I'm
why
wrong,
that's so
somebody tell
funny
me.
to Somebody please correct my poor lost Chad. Yeah, Caleb says. Caleb says Colorado is generally considered to be the Midwest. That's what I always thought too. Corrigan said Midwest is like the Dakotas, Nebraska, Ohio, and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so if you're in the mountains, you're in the West. Anywho, Mile High Power Fest. Good to maybe see the Mortensen Bros again. Hope they can come out.
Yeah, I wonder what they've been
Jive
up to.
about what was their black metal? Josh's black metal.
Craftion.
Craftion.
It was like Cthulhu black metal.
Lovecraft is H.P. Lovecraft's cat themed black metal.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and we could do a Vacant Throne cover or set. That's a deep cut. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any real thoughts on Powerfest?
I'm stoked for it. I'm gonna see some bands. I have to look.
Yeah, you've got Seven Spires, Lords of the Trident, Seizure, who I've been talking with a little bit. They're from California.
Yes.
Traveler.
So yeah,
I wanted to see them for a long time.
and then obviously Lords of the Trident, Grave Shadow, who are awesome. Aftertime, who's also very cool. I've never seen Aftertime play, but I've been like in the same room as them like 4 times.
They're pretty awesome. I saw them play at I think it was Mad with Power 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when Dire Apparel, and I went up as Godzilla.
Yeah, they put on a nice show. I enjoy
They do.
their
Great.
performance and their energy.
And then obviously Seven Spires and Aether Realm are going to be awesome. I saw Seven Spires at Mad with Power this year, or this past year, and they were super cool live. And Aether Realm I saw at Mad with Power the year before that. So
I saw Aether Realm
it'll
when
be awesome to see them both again.
yeah, I saw Aether Realm when Archers was on Unleash the Archers was on tour for the Abyss album a couple years back, and they were on the road with Seven Kingdoms as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool lineup.
They Principium. Speaking of Principium, we opened for Aether Realm at one point, and we accidentally took home a buttload of their CDs. And so I got in touch with them, and I'm like, guys,
Whoops.
we accidentally took a buttload of your CDs, and I got their address and I sent them. And then I found another batch of CDs, and I still have them. So
my
I
Lord.
need to bring those CDs with me, like 7 years later.
Whoops.
Be like, hey, you played here like 7 years ago. Here's 50 copies of your old cartoon-looking CD. They will appreciate that. More merch for them to sell.
Let's see. I've not been looking at chat for a second.
Mr. Holix OG first saw Judicator at Mad Power 3. There to see Theocracy and discovered
Nice.
Occupy, or at event occupies a special place in his heart.
I was at Mad with Power 3 as well, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you were performing with Helium Prime.
Was
So
I
that
in Helium Prime at that time?
That was the Nova Rain Prime tour. That was the
Oh
time
yeah,
when
that's right. Okay.
that's when I first heard Judicator as well.
Oh wow.
Wait, that was your first time hearing or seeing Judicator?
Yeah,
Or hearing or seeing?
seeing.
Oh, okay. You never know. I've had friends who are like, they know who I am and what I do, but they heard my music.
Corrigan says he's coming to Salt Lake for Blind Guardian. Awesome.
Oh yeah, we'll see him there then.
I'll see you there. I already got my tickets for that. And Mad with Power. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to Mad with Power this year. Just because I spent a lot of money to go last year, and I didn't have a girlfriend when I went to the last one. Now I do.
Those be expensive.
That's one way to put it. No, I just wouldn't want to go without her, but it was already expensive with one person. Going with 2 people, it gets
We've got
pricey.
some trips of our own we're saving up.
Yeah, that's also true. Caleb, you said you were at the Archers tour in North Carolina. Was that for the Abyss tour or the Apex tour? Because I was on the Apex tour, and that one was awesome.
What was it like being on tour with Helium Prime and Unleash the Archers? Was it dumb
And Stryker?
or was it good?
It was
Oh,
so
that's right.
dumb. Just kidding. No, it was incredible. It was a super fun time. San Diego, 2018. Yep. Drone. That was at Brick by Brick, right? I like that venue.
What would you say was the best thing about the tour and the worst thing about the tour?
Well, the best thing was being able to see Stryker and Unleash the Archers
Every single night.
every single night, because both of those bands are filled with awesome people, but I really like their music a lot. Both bands. In fact, Stryker just put out a new album like last week, so everybody should listen to that. Called Ultra Power, I think.
Second half of that question.
Oh, what was the worst part?
Yeah, what sucked the what was the suckiest part?
Honestly, don't know. It's hard to look back on it and think of anything negative. I mean, the drives kind of sucked. The way we would do it is we would drive through the night and we would take it in turns. So we'd pull up our Google Maps and find out how long of a drive it was to the next city, and then we would just split that up 5 ways, and then everybody had to take a chunk. And it was rough driving through the night, and then we get there and then just sleep until we had to play.
That's what we did with Dire Peril when we did our little tour with.
Are you talking about Dire Peril?
Yeah, Dire Peril. When
And
we toured
Threat
with Seven
Signal.
Kingdoms and Threat Signal and
Sirenia?
Sirenia. Yeah,
I wasn't even there for that one, but I still know it.
But it really sucked. To do that, to show up at the venue at like 4 o'clock and sound check, and then sit around, and then perform, and then unload, back up, and then sit around, and then drive through the night, or from 6 to 13 hours to the next, and do it all over again. But it alleviated that anxiety of crap, we have to get there.
Yeah, that's why we did it, because we stressed about.
And as long as you're not the one
Timing.
driving, it's not so bad.
Yeah, but 5 people in a van. I know for your guys', for the Dire Peril one, you guys had all the seats still in the van.
Mm-hmm. It was rough.
We opted to have the van rental place take the seats out.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a bunch of space in the back that we could lay down and stretch out, and it was nicer that way, at least.
Yeah, I saw you guys' setup on the Cybernetic Territory. That was a great way to improv it, man.
Yeah, with the we had the camping cot, but it was bunk beds.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 people could sleep on the cot.
Mm. So what we did in Dire Peril is we kind of just undressed and got in the pile.
Yeah.
And, our body heat kept us warm. And,
Gotta survive.
gotta survive.
Mr. Holux says, is Dire Peril playing in Europe soon? No,
Yes.
not Dire Peril.
Yes, Dire Peril is playing in Europe soon. We have a tour with Blind Guardian and Iron Maiden and Bruce Dickinson's solo project next year for headlining.
But no, Judicator is playing in Europe soon. We will be there this next, not this coming April, but next April 2025. We'll be in Denmark at Epic Fest.
Our debut European show ever.
Yes, sir.
Big Boss and Chad, this is your first time going to Europe, correct?
Yes, my first time for any reason ever being in Europe.
How do you guys feel about that? Are you scared or excited or both?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see cool things and cool European things, European people. I'm not excited about the flight and the trip and the logistics of getting there, but it will be amazing to be there. What about you, Big Boss?
I'm in the same page as you, man. Like I am very excited to go over there and check out the sites, be a tourist out there kind of thing, being the first time in Europe. But crossing the pond is not something I'm looking forward to.
I'm just hoping to sleep as much as possible on the way there.
Yeah. What I can tell you, having been there a few times myself, is going a few days early is going to be nice because, the first couple days you're there, it's going to be 3 p.m. and you're going to be, falling asleep dead. If you're like me and you have difficulty sleeping on the plane, some melatonin or some alcohol, we're going to want that sleep. Flight is the worst part. Are you guys learning Danish, or are you just going to go there and Google Translate?
I'm going to wing it. I don't have the bandwidth in my brain to handle trying to learn. I might try and learn a couple of small words and phrases, but
I'll save you some. Toilet is toilette.
Oh, good.
So
good.
I would have
toilet. Jag har en mor och en far.
I'm really hoping that Denmark is like some other European countries that I've heard about, that just everybody knows a little bit of English at least.
If it's anything like Germany, then it's going to be like, in Copenhagen, probably going to get around okay.
Sure.
I don't know about Roskilde because that's a small town, apparently. Who knows?
Yeah, well,
Most metalheads
At least
I've
I can say
noticed
toilet.
speak English
yeah.
all-
Probably because they all learn English from
to sing.
the music, yeah.
Alex also said he remembers when we did Spiritual Treason and getting to sing Deus Volt into the microphone. Awesome moment for you. I will say, when I'm on stage, I always try to be pretty liberal with the mic, just because I've been at so many shows where it feels like the singer puts the mic in everybody's face but mine, and so I just know that treat others how you want to be treated. Just if you see somebody singing along, then find a place to stick the microphone in their face.
I personally hate when that happens to me because usually I'm not singing out loud. I'm just kind of mouthing the words, and so then if someone puts the mic in my face, then I all of a sudden have to actually sing, and I'm not.
I know, I catch your breath like last second. Like,
Yeah.
I remember seeing Blind Guardian, and I was like one of the times I saw him, I was either in the front or like behind the guy who was on front, and they were playing Prophecies, which is one of my favorite songs, and there's some keyboard parts in that are really cool, and I was just like watching the keyboardist doing this kind of thing, and he made eye contact with me, and I went like, yeah, and he did it back to me, and it was one of those little magical moments like what Alex is talking about. I can't connect with the keyboardist, but eye contact and one is reciprocated. Love it. I'll take it.
Oh, we don't have anything in Atlanta area.
Get us an opportunity.
Right now, we're kind of focusing on working things out for the new album and getting ready for these festival appearances. But hopefully, in the near future, we will figure out some touring stuff. Come and see everybody in all the other places that we're not seeing that aren't coming to our festivals.
I would say the most realistic way for something like this to happen, in my mind, is play Mile High Fest in August. Next year we play Epic Fest in April. God willing, I would love it if we were able to get on Mad with Power next year, and then we could tour from the south up to Mad with Power, and then hit Denver, and something like that. I can see.
Randy Van Halen says, I made eye contact with Hansi at Demons and Wizards and nearly fainted.
Boomed in your pants.
That's understandable. Hansi has that effect on people.
Agreed. Metal is the universal language. I love that.
Alex says, I got to talk to the guitarist of Theocracy at Mad with Power 3, and he said the power prog metal scene in Europe is so much more fire than in America. Based on what I'm seeing, I would say that. The only thing out of first-hand experience is Epic Fest is giving us more money than I've ever gotten for a guarantee in North America. But he also ended up being a scammer and taking money from fans, including myself, and getting fired from the band. I didn't. Caleb says
I guess
I'm
that's
not a scammer.
that's probably why Taylor from Paladin is playing with Theocracy now.
There you go.
Good on him because Taylor is incredible.
Chad. Real Chad. Sorry, I was kind of going.
What's up, Ben? How you doing, man?
Judge Duty, baby. Prog Power in Atlanta. Judicator was on the short list for Prog Power. I think we would have gone on Wednesday or maybe Thursday. This would have been 20. But we did not end up getting We were close. Cigar. I don't think Prog Power is almost done, isn't it? Aren't they closing
No.
shop? Oh, I thought they were like gonna conclude it and stop doing it.
No, I think you might be thinking of Maryland Death Fest.
Oh, I was
maybe?
thinking of. I heard that Prog Power was going to stop doing Prog Power.
Nope, they are definitely still going.
Then maybe someday we'll perform there. I'm kind of off of the Prog Power train just because for so long I Big Boss's reaction. I had so much invested. Like, I want to play Prog Power someday. I want to play Prog Power someday. And then after that one experience of like getting cock teased by the whole experience, I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. Whatever. I would love to, but. Oh, Detart says I'm kind of hard to hear. Can you hear me better now?
I turned up your gain a little bit too.
Oh, okay.
If John is still quiet, let me know, guys. I'll see if I can fix it. Here, let me actually.
Noise gate.
Yeah, I turned off the noise gate, so maybe that'll help.
I don't know what that does. What does a noise gate do?
If the signal coming into the microphone is below a certain threshold, then it mutes the microphone.
Oh.
And as soon as you start going above it, then it unmutes it.
So I can
basically.
shout and it's not going to clip?
No, it'll still clip.
Oh.
It's not a limiter or a.
So if I'm over here, then it's going to be forcing my
No.
volume or gain.
No, if you're back there, then it just won't.
Oh, okay.
It's like turning the microphone off.
Okay. Randy Van Halen says that I'm right about what? Can you say what I'm right about? I love being right. Oh, Randy Van Halen says new Judy album 2025. Tell him, Big Boss.
It's in the works. We can't divulge anything specific just yet, but we have a whole album written. We're getting ready to hit the studio works to get it all going, and yeah, we will get it to you guys. Maybe a little snippet before the end of this year, and then yeah, have something grand to show you guys next year.
If you want to follow along with the production of the album, definitely head over to our Patreon because we will be doing some behind the scenes stuff in there. Maybe some like recording studio vlog stuff. I'm not sure yet, but definitely we'll have some early access and behind the scenes stuff in Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon has been a little bit quiet for the past few months, but as we start becoming more active again, that will change. So, patrons, you're going to start getting more bang for your buck.
Yeah, apparently I was wrong about Prog Power.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
It's
heard so
continuing
much about that.
From what they're saying, it's continuing on, but with basically under new management.
Oh, okay.
So it may not be the same as it's ever been. I don't know. I've never been to Prog Power because the tickets always sell out like the same day that they go on sale, and they're expensive, and I live on the other side of the country, so it's a big ask for me to pay for that.
I don't know why Glenn is hopping out of the festival management business, but I saw a post from Ty Christian the other day about like how he's not in this for the profit, and he's, you know, just basically a really good guy and all this kind of stuff. And I don't disagree with that, but I did express the concern that I want Ty to be getting enough money and whatever other value he gets out of managing Mad with Power, because if he's such a good benevolent guy, then he's going to burn out.
Yeah,
I worry that he would burn out and then stop doing it. And Mad with Power is a great festival. I don't want to see it stop.
Ty is too nice.
Yeah, so I would like Ty to charge what is fair for both him and the customer.
Yeah. Big Boss, Ben asked, can you shed some light on the origin of the Big Boss name?
So it is, in fact, Metal Gear Solid related. What ended up happening is the tour we spoke about earlier, the Cybernetic Terror tour that Healy and Prime and Nova Rain did together. I was in the van with Nova Rain as their merch salesman and basically the road manager for them. And the whole time we were on the road, I was keeping them on time, on track. I even meal prepped to make sure everybody was fed. And so everybody basically, like, they wanted to give me a nickname to represent like how I took care of them and everything like that. And one of the guys found out that I was a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and then Balmore Lemus is all like, "Oh, Big Boss," and then it just kind of stuck. And then I ended up getting the Foxhound tattoo with Jason Ashcraft at Mad with Power 4, and so it is indeed Metal Gear Solid related. It is the greatest game franchise ever. Mass Effect. So yeah, thanks for asking, Ben.
Hulk says, I'd love to know to sign up for our Patreon, knowing that you'll be getting info and updates on the new album. Yeah, like I said, I feel like now that the album is written and done, need to finish lyrics for a couple songs, but by and large, it's just done. We are going to put out a crowdfunder campaign, I think, before the end of this month. And more information will follow, and we're going to start putting a lot more goodies on the Patreon. So yeah, definitely if you sign up, the $6 option I think is good. The $10 option enables you to take part in our yearly vote on a cover song, hence our Mandy cover and our Curse of Feanor cover. And this March we'll have a vote on next year's cover song. So we voted last year. We have the
So we're almost around to another vote again.
yeah, and that'll be for next year. So this year we need to produce the ABBA cover.
Yeah.
Next year, I think March is when we vote again. So yeah, and the 25 and up, the 15 and up, I think categories give you like creative behind the scenes, like lyric sheets and that kind of stuff. And other neat stuff.
Victor commented and said, I love your Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood tattoo, Chad. Well, thanks. It's
You can't see it, but he has on one of his side monitors his wallpaper.
Yeah, I've got Edward Elric on my wallpaper on my third monitor. 20-minute album closing epic. We need more long boys, says Randy.
I think the longest song on the next Judicator album is 8 minutes. Everything else is pretty much between 4.5 and 6.5.
Yeah, most of the songs are a little bit more on the short and digestible side for the new album.
There will be no Queen of All Cities or Metamorphosis on this one.
Maybe on the next one, though.
Yeah. We definitely wanted to keep the album to a length where we could produce one vinyl and not have to make it a double.
Judicator cover of a Dysphoria song.
We have 3 members of Dysphoria in the band now, so that's funny.
I wouldn't say it's out of the question, but it might be like maybe just a for fun extra little single we do in between something, if at all.
The 2 things I think about is we still have the Hansi vocals for The Dying Firmament, so if we wanted to shamelessly put Hansi on another Judicator song.
I actually was going through some of my old backup files the other day, and I found all the stems for Britney's vocals for Lunar Sunrise. So
yeah,
we could
just
do that
have
one
her redo those though.
Probably, yeah.
But
that was so long ago, and she honestly, I think she's a much better singer now than she was back then.
I would, if we were to do anything Dysphoria cover related, I would do The Dying Firmament and Lunar Sunrise. And if we were to perform anything live, I think the only way we could do it would be if we did it in Portland for Travis Sigler.
Yeah, because
Dysphoria, we did a tour and we performed in Portland, and we did not play Lunar Sunrise.
Well, we performed in Eugene, which is like 2 hours south of Portland. So Travis and all of his friends drove 2 hours to come see us in Eugene. And Travis's favorite song, we're talking about Travis Sigler from Weird Leather and Mead. and his favorite song was Lunar Sunrise, and it was on our set list, but we had cut it that day for some reason. I don't remember. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
But he's been giving us shit about it for years, ever since.
Let's see. Is Into the Void a good indicator of where you're going with the album, or is that independent of it? Independent of it. I Am the Void is a lovely song. I really enjoy it. But tell him, Big Boss and Chad.
So, I Am the Void was written by John and Dysphoria's keyboard player, Austin Bentley. And what that song's got to be like, what, 6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, it's an old... We finished it relatively recently, but it has been sitting around for like 5 years at least.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, that was just kind of like, we should really put something out and get new lineup going and everything, and
yeah,
that was just like, well, here's this one.
So when we had Jordan and Balmore in the band, I really wanted to turn it into a Judicator song, and the time wasn't right, or I was met with some resistance about it. But when we had a lull after both of those guys departed, then it was like, why don't we just do it? And because we wanted to release The Curse of Feanor, and I don't love the idea of just releasing covers of single covers.
Yeah.
So I thought, we'll make it an EP and release it as a twofer. Queen of all metamorphosis. Detart says, cover the Spanish Dysphoria to really confuse everybody. I haven't seen them in a dog's age, but I remember going on to like iTunes and stuff and looking up Dysphoria and being like, "Cuánto merde podando!" And there's a Spanish Dysphoria. There is an Italian Dysphoria too. I don't know if they're still a thing, but they messaged us on MySpace way back in the day,
in like 2009,
and they threatened, like, if we ever play a show around them, they're going to come and beat us up. And I knew we were never going to do that, so I talked a bunch of shit.
Let's see. Mr. Hollock said, that is so hype. Lunar Sunrise was my favorite song for a long time when I first heard it. Now it's Beyond the Walls of Misery.
Oh, man, that's a good song, too.
Lunar Sunrise, the music was all written by John. Beyond the Walls of Misery was a collaboration of the whole band. So those are two of my favorite songs on the Dysphoria album.
Beyond the Walls of Misery. You can hear the bagpipes in the background when that happens. I love it.
Yeah, I remember that. Corrigan said, I want a cut of the Ethereal where the solo goes on for another 5 minutes at the end. Fun fact, the song The Ethereal has multiple guitar solos in it. It has one from me, one from Dayton, and one from John.
Yeah.
We just happened to be at Dayton's house recording, and I had recorded my solo, Dayton recorded his, and then there was just an empty space, and John was like, let me see what I can do, and he just sat down and busted it out. I haven't listened to that song probably in like 10 years.
Some of the songs on that have aged like wine, and some have aged like milk.
Yeah.
I like Creator's Creator, but I think that's the one that I'm the least enthusiastic about.
It could have been better. We were recording it ourselves and doing a lot of stuff ourselves that if we were to redo it, or if we could go back and do it again, it would be much better. Oh well, it's in the past now. I've moved on.
Big Boss, have you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's?
I have not.
Did you see the movie?
I saw the movie.
Negative.
What did you think of the movie?
I think I watched it after you said it was good.
It was not... I think it was not bad.
Right.
For a PG-13 spooky movie, it was an enjoyable experience, and I like, what's his name, Matthew Lillard?
Yeah.
He's in 13 Ghosts and...
Scream.
Scream and...
Scooby-Doo.
and most importantly of all,
SLC Punk.
Not the Twin Towers, the Twin Peaks.
Oh,
Twin Peaks season 3,
watched.
The Return. Yeah, he was in that 9/11 Nicolas Cage movie.
So I've not played Five Nights at Freddy's, but I watched the movie with my girlfriend who has. And she liked it too. She said that they did pretty good at adapting it from game to movie. It was a fun watch. I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah. But. Big Boss, what would you say is maybe one of your favorite horror movies then?
Ooh. Horror? I don't. That's a hard one. I'm not a big horror fan. I do like suspense. I don't know. Scream was always fun up until like 3.
Oh, The Ring?
Scream.
Oh! Yeah. Scream 1 and 2 is good. Have you seen The Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Samara?
Yeah.
I watched Hereditary a little while ago.
Have you seen that?
1408.
Oh, that one was good too. That
So-
with John Cusack.
And
Yep.
the black motherfucker man.
Oh,
Samuel L. Jackson.
That's
Funny how you knew who I was talking about. The snakes on a plane guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, question.
Question for John and anyone in his other bands. We had a new Judy and Principium album released close together, and Dire Peril album suggested around then.
What's it like putting in so much creative energy to so many different projects at once? If you're referring to me, then I think Chad and maybe Big Boss. I'll be pretty quick. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like being in too many things. I've learned my lesson being in Principium and Judicator and Dire Peril and Dysphoria and blah, 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 blah. No, thank you. It's hard enough being married and having a kid and being in a band and having a full-time job and trying to still have that spontaneity and creativity, that spark, that je ne sais quoi. So that's my take. I think the less the better now. But to the point of how that actually worked, some of these had been in the pipeline for a long time. So Dire Peril, that music had been written for a long time. And luckily the lyrics, as nice as they are, did not require an exceptional amount of creativity because, I watched The Day the Earth Stood Still, and I write lyrics that basically retell the day the Earth stood still, and it's fine. So out of all those, the one that required the most work, I forget the album that came out around that time, if it was Let There Be Nothing. That album required a lot of reading and a lot of energy. Principium was pretty easy because every song is pretty much its own thing. I can be poetic and write about whatever. So yeah, it's possible to be involved in a lot of other things at the same time if everybody is picking up that slack to make up for your lack of focused attention on one thing. Sorry, that was a rant. I want you guys to talk too.
That was a good answer. For me, so I'm in a lot of bands right now, which basically when COVID hit. So for those who don't know, I am also in a band called Helium Prime with Jason Ashcraft. But they are Helium Prime is technically based in Sacramento, California. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. So the only time I'd get together with those guys was when we were going to go on tour. And when COVID hit, no more tours. So there was just a couple years where I just wasn't playing like anything, and it sucked. So I overcorrected and joined a bunch of bands. Yep. So now I'm in a band called Heirs of the Ancient Throne here in Salt Lake. I'm also in a cover band that plays like pop punk and emo songs from the 2000s.
Hell yeah.
I'm in a kind of grungy stoner type of metal band called Hissingen. I'm in Judicator, obviously.
Really?
Whoa. So it does get kind of stressful, especially when all of my bands are having to rehearse all the time, because I basically have 4 rehearsals a week. It gets a little hectic. But thankfully, like, I don't have to write any music for 2 of the bands. So that's all taken care of. I just have to learn stuff and remember how the songs go. Judicator, I'm contributing a little bit of writing, but it's not all on me. Same with Hissingen.
Un poquito. There's
So-
2 songs.
It's about finding a balance in there, and hopefully when you're in that many bands, your other bandmates are okay with you having to divide up that bandwidth among all of them.
And then Big Boss, you're in Trapmaker and
A little alternative rock prog band called the Vox Arcanum. If you guys are familiar with the band Nova Rain, the drummer Ulysses Hernandez.
Yeah, Yuli.
Yeah, he is also in. He's actually the guy who got me into the band Vox Arcanum. Because of, as Chad said, the whole COVID issue. That project is currently still on hiatus, but we are planning on writing a new album soon, which is making 2024 very interesting. I'm in school. Judicator's writing a new album. Vox Arcanum's writing a new album. Trapmaker is trying to get some songs together for an album. Trapmaker is doing a lot of shows. We're doing at least like 3 shows a month, 2 to 3 shows a month kind of thing.
Trapmaker is the band you have with Charles, right?
Yes.
Speaking of which, I saw Charles popped in and said, "Hey, what's
Yep.
up?" a minute
I
ago.
love Charles.
Charles is
I
a good
want
guy.
him to be in another music video of ours.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Charles Mandang, the guitarist and songwriter for Trapmaker, was in the High Priestess music video. One
Playing
of the-
trumpet, baby!
Trumpet player. He was the one that had the permagrin on his face.
I love Charles. He has a good
I
heart.
was also in drum set in the High Priestess and Majesty of Decay video.
Mm-hmm. When we scroll up, I think we're
We're
getting
bit
a
ahead.
lot of comments now.
behind.
Yeah. Uli is indeed a monster.
Because the creator's creator thing was new.
Okay.
Istanbul. Y'all should play Queen of All Cities in Constantinople. I would absolutely love to see you guys there. I don't need to buy a house anyway. Yeah, no, if we played Queen of All Cities in Constantinople, we might get kicked out or worse. No, I'm kidding. We would be fine. I joke. I've met Turks before, and so far as I can tell, they're the same as anybody else. I would love to play in Istanbul.
Holok said, "I'm always interested in the story behind Creator's Creator, Half-Life, Beyond the Walls of Misery. Any insight into it? Is it based on something?"
The Age of Ether is a loose concept album. All of the songs are related, but we did a bad job in stitching all that together and communicating it. The basic gist of the story is that there is a black hole, or it could be a neutron star, or whatever. There's some celestial body that's coming to our solar system, and it's all about Earth's reaction to this, preparation, and it happening and what happens. And so the Earthlings all come together into, it's like the world something conglomerate or whatever. It's mentioned in between the Buried and Me and Beyond the Walls of Misery. Sorry, in Beyond the Walls of Misery, Behind the Walls of Misery. Anyway, this Earth comes together and they create a big colonization vessel that goes off with a number of the population with the intention of colonizing some other place. Earth is destroyed in Lunar Sunrise. Hell yeah. And in Half-Life, you get a nice little robot android AI story of an android who goes berserk and has an existential crisis and kills everybody on board. And then in the Dying Firmament, that android, I guess just floating through space, whatever, he meets an alien race, and they're like, "Do you want to live forever, buddy? Come on, let's hop on, let's go." And then
Hansi's there for some reason.
Then Hansi's there for some reason. He's the leader of the bunch. Hansi confirmed as alien overlord. Yeah, I don't know. Like if we were more well established and Dysphoria was like this big thing, then I would say let's turn it into a graphic novel, because that would be badass. But I appreciate everybody's interest. But yeah, Dysphoria.
There's a lot more Dysphoria talk in here than I was expecting today.
Yeah, same here.
Detart said,
"Sorry, big boss."
Detart said, "Would you ever consider redoing that first Judy album with the current lineup? There are some aspects of the production that could be improved." I would say probably not.
No.
Just because my take on it is that Alicia wrote the music for that. It's just kind of a product of where you guys were at with the band at that time, which was obviously not super serious. It picked up steam later on, but that was a completely independently recorded and produced album.
Yeah, I don't think you meant it that way, but like by serious, I mean like we were earnest in our efforts. It's just we didn't have the resources and knowledge
right.
at our hands. What do you think, Big Boss?
Chad put it best. It was a the project for the time kind of thing. Like
I think
members involved and all that kind of stuff is what created that element. And to read right now would be kind of it would feel too much like covering an album rather than revamping it.
I can see us maybe releasing like live versions of the songs on that album.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we would
re-record.
I can see it happening as some kind of Patreon kickstarted thing, but I would not want to invest my or our own money into the recording of that, just because we split 50% of all digital sales from Alicia albums. So we would invest X number of dollars to produce an album or a cover, even just one cover. Say it's like $600 to produce one or two songs, then it's going to be a while before we recoup our costs, and on top of that, we would be paying half of digital profits to Alicia. It's just, I don't see it being financially viable. That being said, Patreon, speaking of Patreon, I am speaking very off the cuff here because I do not know any of the legal aspects of this, because I'm not putting on my sociopath hat and trying to finagle a loophole, but I wonder what the implications would be if Patreon voted for us to do a cover of a Sleepy Plesso or King of Rome song. You know, because we're not making profit off of songs. That gets into a weird territory.
That might be something we have to talk about and look into more, but
just have us do more ABBA songs.
Yeah.
We don't need any more complications.
Let's see. I'm going to skip a couple of these that are just replying to other people.
Classic Chad move about Chad having a girlfriend. Chad bragging about having a girlfriend.
Hey, it doesn't happen very often, so I got to take the bragging rights when I can. Holok said, as your self-proclaimed biggest fan, I appreciate all the work. All of your bands are like my favorite bands ever. Aww.
Whatever, dude.
John, does your son enjoy your music?
He does, actually. He really enjoys Taylor Swift and Aqua. Because nobody would know, but Aqua is the band who does I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And we have since... I just learned the lyrics to that song are actually kind of PG-13. He's talking about undress me anywhere and all that kind of thing, so we're not so keen on that song. But yeah, anyway, he really enjoys the High Priestess music video. Sometimes he asks for that song where you smash piano, and that's fun. So yeah, he enjoys the High Priestess. He hasn't been able to sit through anything else.
That album got me to watch all the movies off of it. I think of them every time I hear the album, every time now. I think Holux is talking about Dire Peril.
Yeah.
Ben said Blood on the Ice is my favorite off the Dire Peril album. Ben, that's my favorite too. It is an excellent song. props to John and Jason for that.
That song was surprisingly fun to play live. We played the one with Ariane Lucassen live. Beyond the Black Hole, Starship One.
The one where he says Jupiter.
Jupiter. Anyway, we played that live a handful of times, and it just didn't feel great. That's a song that I think is just better on the earbuds.
Big Boss, what is your favorite Judicator song? From Ben.
Let There Be Nothing.
Ooh.
The title track, yeah. I was gonna go with Judgment, but no, Let There Be Nothing is it's epic.
Yeah, I'm a
huge fan of long songs, and that was actually when I was asked to join Judicator or try out for Judicator, but actually they wanted me to send a couple of playthroughs of me doing some songs, and I wanted to make sure that I could actually play what they've written prior. And that was a song that I had played myself and learned myself to, one, make sure that I could pull off what they were writing, and two, make sure I had the endurance to play with them, because it was such a long song. So yeah, gotta go with Let There Be Nothing, the title track.
That's a good one.
I would say to all listening, revisit the song Ursa Minor, because Big Boss, I love what you did with the bass on that song. Every time I listen to that song, I'm just like, Big Boss, man. Love that. What's your favorite Judicator song?
I don't know. I don't think that I've listened to Let There Be Nothing or The Last Emperor enough. So I feel like my opinion of... I don't know. For a long time, it was Coping Mechanism. But then we played it live, and I was like, "Oh, this song is boring to me now." I don't think it's a boring song. I think just now I'm bored with it because I had to learn it and play it so much. I think Rising Again. I think that's the first song on King of Rome.
Correct.
I like that one a lot. The chorus is just really catchy to me. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
My favorite song is, right now, I think the song codenamed Jolene off of the upcoming album.
I don't remember how that one goes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's my favorite. My favorite.
That's how it goes.
My favorite songs are always the ones that are being worked on at the moment. So right now it's Jolene. That's a not even a working title. It's a scratch title.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of the song Jolene by Dolly Parton.
Let's see.
Helium Prime mentioned.
That's my claim to fame.
Caleb and Ben deciphering which space or sci-fi themed movie each Dire Peril song was about. If you have any questions, let me know. I can tell them all. Go watch K-Pax with Kevin Spacey for The Visitor, I think it is. That's a good movie.
I watched that movie for the first time with Jason, actually. He showed it to me.
It's a nice
It was
little
really good.
movie.
I think that was like the first or second time I ever went to Sacramento for Helium Prime stuff. He showed it to me. Going back to the talk, Corrigan said, going back to the topic of concerts, as a fan, what's your dream lineup? Headliner and opener?
Blind Guardian, Necrogoblicon, Judicator.
Okay.
Next question. No, you guys.
What about you, Big Boss?
Ooh, damn. Unleash the Archers, headlining. Judicator.
Ooh.
What else would I want to see? I'd have to shout out to Anubis, a Southern California, LA local thrash band.
Anubis is great.
Yeah, and then Trapmaker opening.
That would be a fun, busy day for you.
Double duty.
Yeah.
And see, Riz?
If we're keeping it just in the melodic and power metal realm.
No, your dream.
Oh.
You could have Taylor Swift and Deicide, you know?
Dream line.
I want to change my answer.
Okay, let's finish Chad and go back to Big Boss then.
I would say musicians alive or dead.
Ooh.
I would say
Oh, okay.
headlining Black Sabbath with Dio.
Chad wins.
Judas Priest opening.
So I presume that would be in their, like, prime. Because you're time
Yeah.
traveling? Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be like Halford walking around with a cane now and...
Well, Halford's doing pretty well, I think, these days right
The
now.
one time I saw him, he had a cane, so
I-
I'll never let him live that one down.
I saw Judas Priest once, and it was like 11 years ago. But they were,
Is that when they came to Salt Lake?
yeah.
That's when I saw him too, and he had a cane during one
Did he
or
have
two
it?
songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
God
bless him.
I forgot
I'm
about
just-
that part.
I'm just teasing.
And Ozzy Osbourne, like his solo band.
Back in his, like, cracked
With
out
Rand.
days, that would be good to see. Ozzy just, like,
Like-
frenetically running back and forth. I love it.
Yeah, that would be. If I could choose any lineup, that would be it.
Nice.
Who did all the harsher vocals on earlier Judy records? Whoever we could find.
I did some.
Chad did some. I did some. Paul Black of Turn to Stone did some on Sleepy Plesso.
The higher kind of persuader sounding screams on King of Rome, on the King of Rome album. That was me.
Alicia did some in Sleepy Plesso.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like flash violence, pointless violence, and
Oh yeah.
you know, what's it called? 30 Years of Terror.
Alex Hinnerman. Did
Alex
some
Hinnerman.
on
There's
What
a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
what is the long song on that album called?
Blut vom Himmel,
Is that the? Yeah, that's the one. Blood from Heaven.
Blood from Heaven. Yeah, we had a whole cavalcade, a whole myriad of people helping us out with harsh vocals.
Let's see. Kudos again for the High Priestess. Metal needs more funk.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I think that is just a fun music video, and with the next batch of music videos we do, I would love it if we had one that was a little more on the serious side, kind of like Majesty of Decay, and then if we had one that was just a little bit Looney Tunes. And I would like to do a third music video. I have ideas for all three.
This chat keeps going down to the bottom, and I have to
Hell yeah, bro.
go back and find where we were.
Judicator Barbie Girl cover 2025. My wife unironically likes Aqua. That's fun. I have listened to some of their other not hit single stuff, and I do agree it's good stuff. Hullock says, yeah, that's my bad. I'm obsessed with all John's bands, so sorry if there's... Oh, yeah, never mind. Oh, Caleb says, can I talk about doing work with Entering Polaris, especially the song Glacier? Would you ever consider doing more like it, especially since it's probably the most underrated part of your discography? If I recall right, the guy's name is Tom T. He reached out to me, and I told him, like, you know, I would love to. I have a minimum that I ask for guest work, and there was no complaints, no nothing. It was like, all right, here, I want to do this and this and this. So I don't know what the guy does for a living or where he gets his money, because when he approached me, I was like, oh, I didn't have to negotiate or anything. Like, I just want this per song, and he just gives it to me. Okay. But then, like, later when everything started to come together, I was like, damn, he's got, like, a lot of people and 3 albums, I think, at the same time. Good on him, man. I say, if you can make your dreams come true, that's great. But no, Tom is a terrific guy, really kind, and he put a lot of effort into this. Case in point, when you ask about Glacier, I didn't come up with all of that vocal stuff. I'm not capable of doing that. Me and my little smooth hamster wheel brain, I couldn't come up with that. He sent me the song basically all completed and just said, take all the vocal tracks and redo them, but with your voice. And so I did it, and now I'm here. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Good job.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely consider doing more like it, as you said. If Tom wanted me to do more for or with him, I would be on board 100%.
Let's see.
Flame Imperishable, also great to work with. Similar story, no complaints about what I ask for doing guest work. Daddy, Papa John's got to put food on the table.
Yak Yak said, what are you doing to prepare for the trip to Denmark? We're saving lots of money.
We're saving money.
I
can't say lots.
But for real, though, we have been starting to get together to rehearse without Big Boss so far, unfortunately, because he's so far away. But yeah, we started rehearsing, getting our set list dialed in and put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a 45-minute set list and a 60-minute set list, and we're not moving. We're not deviating. Those are the set lists until, or at least through, next April. So we are just going to nail those set lists and be the best that we can at them. Ja Taylor Dansk. I'm learning Danish. These guys are not doing that. Shame, know your name.
I'm already in school, man. I can't.
I know, I'm just teasing.
Album record school. I can't do too much, man.
But yeah, and regarding the money thing, we, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign for the next album, and I figure if we do that, it's going to just enable us to produce an album while simultaneously saving for this big trip. So hopefully we can have our cake and eat it too, money-wise, and make our dreams come true.
Here's a good question. Corrigan said, always been curious, how often do you guys listen to your own music?
Big Boss?
Every day when preparing for a show.
When preparing for a show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much the same way. Like, when I'm working on an album with a band, I get so sick of hearing the songs by the time the album is done that, like, I'll get the final master and listen to it like maybe 2 or 3 times and just be like, so I can take it all in and appreciate my hard work. But after that, if a song comes on my Spotify or something, I'll skip it, unless usually if I'm preparing for a show or something, I'll make a playlist of all the songs in the set list and then I'll just play along to that. So I mean, unless if it's a album or project that I had a hand in, like I maybe just did some guest stuff on it or something, then I might listen to it more. But otherwise, no.
I used to listen to my own music a lot more, and I don't know if it's just that I got married and had a kid, that now I'm so much more selfless and, so much better than everybody else. I don't know if it's just that, like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not as into it anymore, but like the other guys have said, if we're preparing for a show or something, then I listen to it religiously day and night, because I am I need so much help with memorizing lyrics. I'm bad at that, but I listened to The Majesty of Decay from start to finish last week for the first time in, might have been a year. I haven't listened, like I will listen, I watch our music videos probably more regularly, but the music, I don't know, maybe here and there.
I will say, a couple months ago, I went back and listened to the Dysphoria album, The Age of Ether for the first time in a long time. I had gone back and listened to like songs or parts of songs on their own, but I listened to the whole album start to finish, and it was pretty eye-opening to just like hear it and see like, oh, that's where I was like 10 years ago. And to be able to hear that and then see how much my guitar playing has improved, see how much more better I am at recording, and it's nice to be able to see the difference there.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I really enjoyed listening to it.
Sometimes when I'm feeling a bit morbid, I go back and listen to like old Shadowseer or the Dysphoria Awakening EP.
Yeah.
Hear Baby John singing at like age 18, 19.
I show that stuff to my friends when I want them to have a laugh. Not because of you, but because of everybody.
There's no
listen
ego
to how
there.
bad we were.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yak Yak says that his favorite Judicator song is also Let There Be Nothing. And same with Hullix. It is his favorite song off that album. And that's his favorite Judy album.
Nice.
Nice. Let's see. Destartes says Jolene would be a great cover for 2025. I'm all about it, man. I would love to do 9 to 5. I think that could be a spunky, funky little song. I also think Shine would be a really, really neat metal cover. I think that would be great. I would be all about it.
Ben said, are we going to catch the Deathclock Dragon Force Necrogoblicon tour?
Yes, I want to see Deathclock and Necrogoblicon.
They're not coming here. Well,
Then maybe. That's a big fat maybe.
the closest they're coming is Idaho Falls.
I could probably do that.
I thought about driving up to see it because I seen Deathclock twice. Once in 2009 and once in 2012, I think. And they are awesome live.
I would love to see them. I've never seen them live.
I just saw Dragon Force for the first time ever a few months ago.
They were good.
I was very impressed with them live. I've been waiting to see Dragon Force since I was 16 years old, so that was awesome. That would be awesome. And we opened for Necrogoblicon.
Yeah. We've opened
back in the day.
I've opened for them twice, I think, with Dysphoria and once with Principium.
Yeah.
They have a new singer now, and I've seen them with their new singer, and I'm not going to say that I don't like it, but it's just a really big adjustment.
Yeah. I've never been a huge fan of their music. It's fine.
That's fair enough.
I don't think they're bad. I just don't really like what they do. So it'd probably be fun to see them live again. But
Mastodon is touring too.
Mastodon and
with a bunch of other bands.
Mastodon and Lamb of God.
Yeah.
It's the
Ashes
20th
of the-
anniversary of Leviathan, I think.
They're playing it in its entirety.
And Ashes of the Wake from Lamb of God, which is my favorite Lamb of God album.
Are you going to go see any of these, Big Boss?
I have tickets to both of those shows already.
Dang, you don't waste time.
No.
I
Otherwise, they get expensive.
That's true.
I went to buy something Warhammer 40K related, and the guy behind the counter had a Blind Guardian shirt on, and so we bonded over Blind Guardian.
Hell yeah.
He's going to go see them when they come, and I told him my band has worked with Hansi before, and he didn't seem to care. I felt like he was like, oh, what did you like say hi to him once? Like,
yeah. Let's see. Travis said nerds. Yeah, we are.
Oh man, there's stuff with Travis that I really want to talk about, but now's not the right time. But man, this 2024, 2025 is going to have a lot of fun, cool things.
Let's see. Travis said, what's your favorite candy?
Favorite candy?
Reese's Fast Break.
Actually, it's funny enough. My favorite candy is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Yeah.
Peanut butter.
Uh-oh, Big Boss he's putting his hand in the cookie jar.
Oh,
Those are so good too.
I haven't had one of those in a dog's age.
Oh man, in a dog's age. Man,
Um,
I don't know if it's the alcohol talking or just the spirit of conviviality, but I just want to hang out with you guys more and play more shows, and you guys are my best friends.
Aw.
Aw.
You guys heard it here first. Travis said one time I saw Iron Maiden open for Blue Oyster Cult, but John didn't want to go to the headliner because he lost his phone in the mud pit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming he's talking about Vakken.
No, yeah, so myself, Travis Sigler of Weird Meadery, and Austin Bentley, and a bunch of our other friends, we went to Vakken 2016, where there was Triptychon and Blind Guardian and Iron Maiden. And, yeah, I had my $900 phone that during Iron Maiden, they... I don't know if somebody stole it or if it slipped out of my pocket, but my phone fell in the mud or was stolen and I never saw it again. And I've never had a phone that expensive since.
Let's see.
John, did I hear you're getting harshly on the next Judicator album?
I assume that means harsh vocals of some sort.
I think what he might be referring to is a post I made recently about Beholder, this project I am doing with Carlos Alvarez, who has edited and mixed The Last Emperor, The Majesty of Decay, and At the Expense of Humanity. And Shadow Dance, he's in his own bands, but yeah, we're throwing together this doom metal band called Beholder.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Beholder is a creature in Dungeons of Dragons. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy, and Carlos still wanted me to do the lyrics, so I said, okay, I'll do my best. And I think I did my best. I did probably 75 to 80% of the vocals, it feels like, or of the lyrics. And Carlos has helped out on the lyrics. But yeah, so the Beholder stuff, I didn't want it to just be Judicator. And I wanted to do something different. So there's a lot more of the... There's a lot more of that stuff.
That was great.
And it's actually really... I think it'll be a very, very fun, neat breath of fresh air to people who follow me and Judicator. No, the next Judicator album is going to be regular Johnny Cakes.
Regular Johnny Cakes.
Yeah.
Randy said, have y'all ever thought about or ever worked on a straight up ballad for Aunt Judy?
I don't know if the Iron Duke counts.
Go listen to Mandy.
Mandy, go listen to Mandy, you turkey.
Damn it.
Big Boss, your bass on Mandy is just smooth as butter.
Holix asked if we revealed the set list. No, we have not.
Do you want us to?
I think the consensus, because we did do a poll. John ran a poll on our social media accounts, and it was kind of split from what I saw. Like, a lot of people like to know the set list beforehand, but a lot of people prefer to be surprised.
The minority of people, I took it, wanted to see it. So, I don't know. I don't know if... Because on the one hand, it's like, we don't play super often, so if we're playing at a festival or something and somebody's really excited to see us, yeah, maybe they want to know. And so I thought, like, maybe we do some kind of, like, page where it's like, if you really want to know, go to this URL and you can see the set list.
I missed a question from Ben. Thoughts on a concept album based on the Children of Hurin, brutal Tolkien story?
In the later days of Alicia's tenure, if that's the right word, in Judicator, there was discussion of making a Tolkien-inspired concept album. The idea that we were most keen on was basically it just being a concept album about Gandalf. We ended up going with the concept of the Majesty of Decay. Some people have expressed critique about the story for the Majesty of Decay, but it's like that was the story we were going to do even before Alicia left the band.
Yeah.
So that was a stamp of approval even before, or at least there was nothing said against it. That was the concept for the Majesty of Decay was in the pipeline for a while. But no, I don't foresee us doing anything Tolkien based now, because I think Alicia Cordisco is much more into the Lord of the Rings than I am. I love the Lord of the Rings, but I don't know if I'm into it as much as she is. I don't know what you guys feel.
I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but mostly because of the movies. I have read The Hobbit more times than I can count. Because I read it for the first time when I was like 12 years old. But I've not read the Lord of the Rings books, nor have I read like the Silmarillion, or I am currently reading. It's a book about the rise and fall of Numenor, but it's not actually. It's like a collection of stuff that was put together and published. It's not actually. So it's kind of. It's like a history book, but it's about it's fantasy. So I am getting more into Tolkien recently, actually. But yeah, John's the one who does the concepts, not me.
I don't really see us doing a Tolkien-inspired album. I have other things that I would like to write about.
There's also plenty of bands that do Tolkien stuff, so
yeah.
It's not like there's a vacuum needing to be filled by Tolkien metal.
And the other thing that I'll just go back to really quick was, like, if we've ever done a ballad for Judicator, or I would be open to doing one. It just needs to come naturally. Like, the High Priestess came naturally. It's not like I said, I want to write this kind of song. Sure. It just came. So if it comes, it comes. That's what she said.
Whoa. And Travis said if we do a Tolkien-based story, that he would be obligated to be on it. For those who don't know, the YouTube video / stream of the Curse of Fëanor cover that we did has a little monologue at the end of it. A little excerpt. And that is Travis's voice. So go watch and listen to that song, and then listen to him talk about Morgoth or something. Let's see.
Hullock says that he listens to one song off Age of Ether every day.
That warms my heart.
God bless.
I don't think about dysphoria much these days, regardless of the fact that I have the word literally tattooed on me.
Show the camera.
Let's see if I can kind of make sure that I can. Is it gonna focus? Yeah.
Dysphoria.
Yeah, that was my first tattoo when I was 18 years old. Do I regret it? Not really, but it sucks having to explain it every time someone asks me about it.
Just be like Jason. Just have every inch of your body covered in tattoos.
That way nobody can tell what's
sensory
what.
overload.
Yeah. That's the plan eventually. Let's see.
Yeah, more dysphoria talk. I'm surprised there's this much dysphoria talk.
I'm not.
Travis said, how far behind is this chat? It's really behind because we're taking too long to answer stuff, and so now we're trying to catch up.
That's fine, though. I would rather have too much than too little. Also, that's what she said. Am I really that immature? Come on.
Let's see. Randy said, I love power metal more than most things in life, but I just never cared for Dragon Force, so don't feel bad. It's funny because Dragon Force, I started liking them back in like 2006 when The Fire and the Flames was a brand new song, and I don't even think it was on Guitar Hero yet. That's how new it was. And I was like, I had never heard anybody do stuff like that on guitar before. I didn't know what power metal was. And then I got into power metal, and I was like, oh, Dragon Force is cheesy garbage. For a long time, that's how I felt. And I still kind of feel like that about some other stuff, but yeah.
I will say that the more power metal I see nowadays, I don't know if I'm just waking up to it. I feel like I just don't like that much power metal.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm very picky about power metal bands that I like. Usually, if they're more proggy, then I will like them more. But it takes a while for me to get into bands too. So Yak Yak said, "Who wrote the lyrics to God's Failures?"
That was me. That album is very atheist, and it's coming from a perspective that involves a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And so I'm sure we've all been in a place in our lives where we've experienced failure or a lot of hurt and pain, and you can't help but wonder if God is real, then this would count as a failure. I don't know. The lyrics on that album, I think, are very, very real. You know, very, very
Shit got real.
Shit got real. It's really in your face, and it's really talking about a lot of horrible, deep, relevant stuff. So,
but in case you're wondering, John writes all of the lyrics for Judicator.
Yeah, when Alicia left the band, well, I'll say that Judicator now is not. There's nobody has a monopoly on the music, so Chad can contribute as much as he wants. Big Boss, anybody. But I will still want to maintain my monopoly over the lyrics and the sort of, I guess, creative.
Which is fine by me because I suck at writing lyrics.
Good.
So.
Yeah, I consider myself the creative director of the band.
I'm too far away to be involved.
Aww.
I want you to be involved, Big Boss. You can be as involved as you want to be.
Just send me voice messages on Messenger with you playing bass, and I'll try and figure out what it is. Let's see. Reese's Fast Break mentioned. Wow, I think me and Hollix are friends now. Okay.
Oh, Has Been Hotel. Degeneracy.
I don't know what that is.
No, thank you. Yuck. P.U.
Yeah, we're so far behind. We gotta.
Oh yeah, Travis mentioned at Vakken that John was texting some girl named Rachel that he met online. I met my wife like a month before we went to Vakken in 2016. We met on Tinder, and I was talking with Rachel, my now wife, at Vakken, and when I lost my phone in the mud, I went AFK for like a few days, and she was like, "What happened?" And I told her. Anyway, yeah, we ended up getting married. How cool is that?
Let's see.
Hullock says, "Wait, new John Yelland band dropping? Bro, where you been? We announced Beholder so many moons ago." Yeah, there's a doom metal band project, I guess would be the more appropriate way to phrase it now. Called Beholder, a Dungeons and Dragons focused doom metal band.
Hulk said, "I like that Judicator is largely historically inspired. It's very unique, and I end up learning a lot from it." It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the pattern we've established that I would like to keep is that Judicator does 2 historical albums that are kind of related, one unrelated personal kind of thing, and then 2 historical that are related, one weird outlier, 2 historical. So with the Majesty of Decay, we've done a weird outlier, and it's time to get back into 2 historical albums that relate to each other.
Travis said, Patreon song should be Duloc is a Perfect Town from Shrek.
Duloc? Wait, what?
Where was it? This one.
Patreon song should be called Duloc.
Should be the Patreon cover. He wants us to
Duloc.
cover the song where it's like the little wooden figures and they sing when they first get to...
Oh, and it's like...
Yeah, the one it's making fun of the Disneyland.
Yeah,
thing.
vote for it. That would be easy. We would put it all together in like, we'd have Francisco put it all together in Symphobia or whatever, and we would have to do less work.
Funny enough, I went away on a little mini trip with my girlfriend a few weeks ago, and we were in our bed and breakfast room, and we needed movies to watch, and they had a selection of DVDs in the lobby that you could choose from, and Shrek was one of them, and I grabbed it as a joke, but then we ended up watching it.
Yo, this shit actually fire.
And it was my first time watching Shrek in years, and actually it holds up.
Yeah. Shrek really holds up. My kid loves all of the Shrek movies.
Oh,
they're great.
Yo, the tat. What tat are you talking? Are you talking?
It could be Dysphoria,
Oh, the Dysphoria
or
tat.
your Full Metal
Oh
Alchemist.
yeah. They're talking about, because I was talking about my Dysphoria tattoo.
I remember.
Yak Yak said I'd find it harder to explain the Dream Theater tattoo. It kind of is, but at the same time, it's like I usually just say, oh, it's just a band I like, and people leave it at that. With my fingers, it's like, oh, what is that? What does it say? And I show people, and they say, oh. What?
Tell them it's a religious symbol.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, I got it for my church.
Can you show, can they see your Dream Theater tattoo?
That was
Distort your arm, mangle it some more.
There you go.
That was my second tattoo. I was very into Dream Theater at that time in my life.
So this is interesting. Hullix says, I remember a while back John made a comment, something to the effect of Judicator or Dysphoria was not inspired by the word dysphoria, now popular related to gender dysphoria. And I remember when I was auditioning and joining Dysphoria, I looked it up, and I got all of this gender dysphoria stuff, and I brought it up with Casey. I was like, what is the band name?
So
and Casey was like, well, it's like Euphoria, but it's the opposite of it. And I guess that's true, but I had no idea that the word dysphoria in like the regular sense is like very much more closely aligned with like gender dysphoria.
Well, dysphoria as a word can be applied to, like, people have gender dysphoria, people have body dysmorphia, but like that's a similar thing.
Yeah.
So dysphoria is still.
But if you Google dysphoria, you're going to get the first 10 results being gender dysphoria.
And that's just because that's like the biggest thing now. The band was named in 2007. And the everything happening with trans folks and gender dysphoria being more accepted and more like that community wasn't there in 2007. So
I mean, I guess it was there, but
I mean it was there, but it wasn't
in the public eye, I guess.
Yeah, like in I was 17.
We were kids.
I didn't know what any of that stuff was, and that name actually came from a guy who was in the band who left like a month after the band was named. So
Josh?
No, it was Dorian.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad, but Holix, you know what? I'm glad that has a special place in your heart, because
God bless.
Much love.
Self-actuate. Go forth and conquer. We transcend power metal. I hope so. My ego talking. I saw with the Majesty of Decay reviews a couple of mentions of that album being, what was it, like avant-garde power metal or art power metal or something like that, and I thought that was, I like that.
Detart said it's the keyboards that make most power metal bands suck. I will have to disagree, because like listen to like Stradivarius or...
Which we're opening for.
Yeah, we are opening for Stradivarius in Denmark next year.
I think the issue I have with... So I'm just like interjecting and talking a lot,
good.
but I think my problem... This ties back to my problems with a lot of power metal bands now, is so many of them sound the same. And it's not only like what would you say, like the sonic sound or like the production sound, but it's like I just hate that, like it feels like a minute and a half into the song I just know exactly what the song is and how it's going to end, where it's going. I don't feel like, whoa, oh, they're doing this now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's refreshing. It's like, no, this is cut and paste, and it makes me sad.
Let's see. So Yak Yak said, I'm very atheist, so it's okay. And then Holok said that you've since become an Orthodox Christian, and I find a lot of insight and perspective in that album now. I assume talking about At the Expense of Humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the lyrics for Expense when I was an atheist, and so I don't look back on that album and think, oh, what an idiot I was, or, oh, that album sucks because it ideologically disagrees with me. I think, no, like I said, that album is coming from a place of very real, in-your-face pain, and I stand by every feeling that I expressed in that album. I think it's very true to the human experience, and that ultimately is what I am trying to do with lyrics, is connect with the human experience, whether it's from an atheist point of view, a Christian point of view, or a totally non-religious at all point of view.
And it's a nice like snapshot of like where you were when you wrote it.
100%.
Let me see. Corian asked John, what's your favorite lyric that you've written, the one you're most proud of?
That's a good question.
Let's come back to that. I need to think on that. Go to the next question.
You've written a lot of lyrics.
Yeah.
Let me see.
The first thing that comes to mind, which is, this is not the answer, but there's a Protest the Hero lyric that I totally ripped off in Metamorphosis, which is like, if there's one thing that I've learned in all my years, having your heart ripped out could be a source of grace, and your shame, when laid out to see, could begin to make you who you're supposed to be. I don't know what the song is or what the lyric is, but there's a protest. You're smiling, so I think you know it.
It's funny because
I ripped it off.
The first time I heard that, it reminded me of that Protest the Hero song.
I ripped it off because I'm like, this is exactly what I want to say here, but I can't just copy and paste Protest the Hero's lyrics. So I had to find another way to say it, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So I would never say, like, I'm such a great lyricist because of this line in Metamorphosis, because I don't really consider that me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll keep thinking on the favorite lyric thing, but continue.
Let's see. Shrek had that magic where everyone likes it, kids and adults. True. I remember seeing Shrek in theaters when I was 11 years old, and I specifically remember my parents, when we were walking out of the theater, like talking about it and just talking about how much they enjoyed it, and they were talking about stuff that I didn't know, like the more adult like jokes that are in that movie. I get them now. Yeah. Do you think he's compensating for something? I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Even Farquaad.
Yeah.
Fuckwad, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, it's great like that. Randy asked, Chad, how hyped are you about Portnoy's return to Dream Theater? I'm very hyped about it. I remember, when was it? 2011 or 10 when they announced that he was leaving the band. I actually didn't do anything that entire day, and I was just depressed. I was so sad. I think I might have cried. And I have seen Dream Theater live twice. Once was the tour they did immediately after Portnoy left. And then I saw them a couple years ago. I flew to California and went with Alex Boston, who plays drums in Helium Prime. He and I drove down to San Francisco Anyway, they're great live, but Mike Mangini he doesn't play the stuff exactly the way Mike Portnoy does, and that's the kind of stuff that like I hear live, and I want to hear it exactly the way it is on the album. And I've seen live video of Mike Portnoy playing with Dream Theater, and he nails every single drum hit is like exactly right. So the magic just wasn't there for me, if that makes sense.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
because I actually saw Dream Theater on this last tour they did, where they had Animals as leaders and Devin Townsend.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I saw him at the the YouTube Theater, which is like this little venue that's inside the SoFi Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agree with you. Like it was my second time seeing them, but both times like it had been without Portnoy, and you're absolutely right. It's like he's a fantastic fucking drummer. Not taking any of that away from him, but it's just when you grow up hearing Portnoy,
yeah,
and then they play Portnoy songs, and you're just not. That's a great way to describe it. You're not getting that magic.
Like they played this last time I saw them, they played all of Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory, from start to finish, because it was like the 30th anniversary or whatever it was. And I'm like, I would be trying to air drum along, and then it wouldn't be right, and I'd be like, oh no, dang it, and it hurts just a little bit every time. Let's see.
Descartes working with Dream Theater members' kids now. That's badass.
That's cool.
Put some more of your story, like more details, in the comment. I would be curious to know.
Where are we?
Drone Blake said, I'm personally super over everyone copying Glory Hammer and turning it retro 80s style in power metal. That's fair to say.
That's why with the High Priestess we rode a little bit of the 70s coattails.
I don't really know much Glory Hammer. I've listened to their one album. I don't remember what it's called. I liked the one album that I've listened to a few times. I should probably like them more because I'm friends with Sozos, who used to be in a band with me.
Prime.
Yeah. By the way, Sozos Michael is a fantastic human being.
Amazing.
Caleb said, I love the fact that your spiritual journey is immortalized in musical art for others to relate to.
Yeah. I think that I'm not so special and unique, so a lot of other people probably can relate to, if not all of it, then at least some of it. You know, if you're more on this side, you might relate to that, and if you're on the other side, you might relate to this. But yeah, like I said, it's all trying to just get under the skin of the human condition.
I can't think of any other bands who I've been able to watch like make that kind of a growth in their life through their music.
Well, and personally too, I think now it's like, okay, you know, I'm Orthodox, and I've really wrestled with it because, you know, it's like I was Mormon, then I was atheist, then I was Hindu/Buddhist light, and then I was Orthodox Christian. And so it's like, oh, okay, what are you going to be next? And it's like, man, what am I going to be next? Am I going to be something next? And so I've really wrestled with that, and I just don't think so. And so I think, like, man, if this is the category that I'm in now, what's next on the progression? Because I don't want... I wouldn't want to just release the same thing over and over again, or talk about the same thing over and over again, or the same perspective over and over again.
Yeah, but I think things come naturally enough that...
I totally agree. And so to that point, it's like, I almost said the next album title. The next album has a concept which might have some kind of spiritual or religious in it, but not really. And the album idea I have after that is similar. So, like, I don't think the next two albums are going to have much, if really any, spiritual or religious stuff, but it will definitely pertain to something that relates to us all. I can tell you that much.
Drone Blake said, "Good night, y'all. We'll try to watch the rest if the replay is up. Thanks for the stream. Have a good night, Drone."
Fare thee well.
Yak Yak said, "John is going to be a Scientologist next."
I was in California so many years ago when I got a guy coming up to me with a pamphlet trying to talk to me about Scientology. He was just a creepy guy. No thank you.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Let's see.
Let's see. There was another comment up there that I recall seeing. Oh, yeah. Some of those lyric mentions. We're halfway through the album already. Oh, yeah. That side of the Majesty of Decay is something I really adore, because the album is about. It's not even necessarily me. I interpret it more like it's about a person's... I mean, it is about me, but I don't want it to just be about me. But it's about somebody's journey through death, and like the good things and the bad things. When I came up with this idea, I was a chaplain, so I was visiting people who were on the last leg of life on a regular basis, you know? And you see a lot of the good and you see a lot of the bad. And so the Majesty of Decay mirrors itself. The first half of the album is doom and gloom and this sucks and I'm dying of cancer and I'm rotting away, and the second half is like, oh, maybe things aren't that bad. And even every song, so track 1 is a mirror image of track 10, track 4 is a mirror image of track 7. The whole album folds in on itself. I love it. And so yeah, with Ursa Minor, that's where it's like exploring, like, okay, what am I doing as the songwriter or the storyteller? Because we're telling, in the first half of this album, a story about basically at the expense of humanity, you know, just all of this horrible death stuff. And it's like, I've heard people comment about At the Expense of Humanity, saying essentially, oh, it's great, but man, I can't listen to it that much because it's really depressing. I've heard multiple people say basically that. And so Ursa Minor is like, well, what am I doing as the writer, making people feel this way? You know, I have control over the way people feel. That's weird. Maybe I can change the story. Maybe it can be a good story instead of a bad story. And it's like, oh, is it too late to change? We're halfway through the album already. I wrote that initially as a joke, and then I'm like, actually, yeah, I kind of like it. Let's roll with it.
Randy said, Majesty is honestly super unique in that way. Possibly my favorite Judy album, or a close second behind Expense.
I don't know if we'll ever do an album like Majesty of Decay again, but if we do, that would be cool. I really am happy that we did it. I feel like it's a real work of art where I don't feel all of them are. Is that Jill? Jill, yeah. Good night, Jill. I don't know how much longer we'll be doing this, so I don't know how much more you're going to miss, but thank you for... I still owe Jill a t-shirt. I'm so sorry. I publicly apologize. I need to send Austin and Jill a t-shirt. I need to do that in the next day or two. Shame, shame, know your name. That's on me.
Is that the Goonies?
Yeah. Shame, shame, know your name.
Expense was a time of my life, tattoo and all. Yes, Travis, I remember that.
Yeah, Travis has a tattoo of the album cover of At the Expense of Humanity on his leg. That is hardcore.
I don't remember. Travis, did you have that tattoo when you came to see Dysphoria in 2014 or whenever it was? I don't remember if you had it then or if you got it after.
I think it was after.
Anyway.
Can you scroll up a little bit? Because there was another lyric quote.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the album already. You become that which you worship, either virtuous or vile. No false neutrality. That was also a good one because I agree with that. And exploring my conceptions of what prayer is and what your or a spiritual life is, I really do believe in orientation. Like what I've been thinking about a lot recently is like your actions, I think, show more than your words, and I think your actions show your beliefs in a way that your words don't. And so your actions sort of reveal what you really believe and what your real value set is. And that's damning, you know, it's kind of scary to think about, you know, because we're all hypocrites. We say that, you know, we believe in this and that high virtue, but then we go and we lie and steal and cheat and look out for ourselves. But, you know, I think that if the highest thing in your life that you strive to align yourself with is something good, then, you know, the idea is you become that, and if you are just a degenerate poopy butthole, then you'll also become that. So, I don't know. I like that they quoted that lyric because I think it's great. The no false neutrality is not only a reference to, of course, the quote by Christ, who says essentially that same thing, but also the quote from Sleepy Plesso, where Paul Black says... The Elector is like, there is no third way. There is no neutrality. So for me, it's a double nod of the hat. The Eastern Time folks are passing out. We'll wrap it out. We'll wrap it out.
Wrap it out.
Wrap it up soon, then.
Caleb said it was certainly a piece of art. All your music is great for different reasons. Majesty definitely hit the hardest for me on a spiritual level. Not that the other songs are slacking at all.
Appreciate it.
I wasn't there for that, so good job,
I
guys.
was my first album I ever recorded.
Yeah, Caleb, we met when I was out in North Carolina for a work trip, and we got along fine. So, and same with you, Ben. You know, if we're ever in the same town or we tour through, then we'll hang out, and the band will all go out and buy beers and cheeseburgers, and Chad will have a water. Okay, how many people do we have in the chat now?
12.
11? 12? Okay.
12.
How long have we been going?
2 hours almost.
2 hours! Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm good to go as long as people are interested, but I don't want to overstay our welcome either.
Do you guys have any more questions Judy related? We had a lot of dysphoria questions.
I'm so sorry.
Poor Big Boss. Water mentioned.
Water mentioned. Water Master Race.
Yak gave a scripture quote.
Big Boss, what does it mean to you to be doing this Epic Fest? Are you scared? Are you excited? A mixture of the both?
I'm terrified. Very excited, but at the same time terrified. Like, what was it? Hyperspace was an awesome experience. It was my first time playing live with Judicator after being in the band for like almost 3 years already. Thank you, COVID. But no, and then that was, you know, it was one of the biggest crowds I ever played in front of. But I had a blast doing it, you know. And so like the thought of like Epic Fest, it's like yeah, it's gonna be, you know, in front of a great crowd. It's gonna be, you know, playing with, you know, guys that I love and I respect and I appreciate being around and currently that I miss. But yeah, like Chad was talking about earlier, it's the whole like concept of the traveling over there and you know, my first time in Europe and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just it's very intimidating. But yeah, it's like the best word to describe it is excited / terrified.
Did you have any additional thoughts?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, I think I'm slightly jaded when it comes to playing live. Like, I don't really get excited for it anymore, but I still greatly enjoy the experience when it's happening. So it probably won't really hit me until we're there. And then we'll be on stage and like, oh, this is crazy. Wow, and at that point, then, of course, I'll look back on it, I think, much more fondly than looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing time, I know.
Agreed.
But I probably just won't feel it until I'm there.
I know in my experience, I'm never really nervous until like 15 minutes before.
Yeah.
So like, so it's funny that you say that, because that's how I am too. I'm like, I just know I'm going to be in the zone, and then when it's like, okay, like the band is wrapping up, it's about time for, oh, I'm going to poop my pants. I'm going to poop my pants, bro. This is happening? Like,
I'm also slightly nervous. For those that don't know, I had a very, very minor stroke like 3 weeks ago. Is that right? 4 weeks ago? Not that long ago. And it was basically it was caused by some damage I have to an artery in my neck. And the doctors can't really tell me how that artery was damaged. But the only thing that I can think of is that I've been headbanging too much. So playing live, I usually do quite a bit of headbanging. So playing live is going to be a little bit different for me for a while, at the very least. I did play a show with my other band, the Heirs of the Ancient Throne, this past weekend. It was my first time playing on stage since I had that stroke. And it was definitely a little weird. I had to be more reserved with my performance. So that's going to be something I have to learn and figure out. And I worry about that for things like these big festivals with lots of people that are going to be there. I worry that my performance will be impacted, not necessarily my playing, but just my ability to get into it and have fun.
If the issue is like headbanging, I mean, you have a lot of hair, so I imagine you can get a lot of momentum just doing like, rather than like, that kind of stuff.
But like, you get into a nice fast thrashy part of a song and you just want to go crazy with it, and you gotta now it's at the back of my mind at all times. So yeah, side to side headbangs to mix it up. I'll be like I forget his name, the bass player for Opeth. His hair is so long.
Had to be the bass player. And
that's all he does. He just goes back and forth. That'll be me.
Hullick says, I remember when I saw Judy live at Mad with Power 3, you changed the last line to something like, I preach to introduce a life of God to all instead of democracy to heaven. What was the thought there? I forgot the lyrics. Okay? Are you happy?
It was an accident.
Are you happy?
That is a cool way to replace it.
To go deeper, though, I don't know. I'm not as big of a fan or believer in democracy in general now, though, so I don't know. Maybe that was a tilt toward a symphonia of church and state or something.
Ben asked, does the main character in Majesty die of cancer or old age?
Old age. Yeah, so the first half of the story is doom and gloom. This sucks. Oh my goodness, I'm going to die of cancer and life is horrible. And the second half is like, actually, how about I die surrounded by family, and it's actually a really beautiful and nice experience.
Corrigan said, you were great at hyperspace. I'm glad I got to be there and meet everyone. Yes, Corrigan, I remember talking to you.
I feel bad because Corrigan was so happy to be there, and like we were hanging out and stuff, and I don't know what possessed me, but I'm like, dude, check it out. I found a dead rat in the alley. Isn't that gross and cool and weird? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? It's a dead rat, like all waterlogged and stuff. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
He was elegant and gracious about it. But I realized, wow, I'm kind of a creepy asshole. Weird. Stop. Don't do that ever again.
Randy asked, do y'all do a group huddle right before you go on stage?
Did we do that at Hyperspace?
No.
I want to do that because
Agreed.
Have you guys played sports?
No. I played soccer when I was 5.
I sports.
Because I was, I'm sad that we didn't do it because we were in the green room and we were all like giving each other nods and like we're gonna do it. Ooh, I think a group huddle would be something interesting to try out because when you're like doing rugby or like basketball or something and you do it and you're like touching each other and you've got this shared energy and it's like, all right guys, poo poo pee pee caca, poo poo pee pee caca. All right guys, we're gonna go do it, right?
Well,
Poo poo pee pee caca.
so my other band, we've only played 2 shows as a band so far, but before both shows, we have gotten together in a circle, and our keyboard player, Kevin, who writes all of our music, he is also an actor, and he's very dramatic, and before both shows, he has, in our little circle, he recited something from a Shakespeare play, but I can't remember what it was.
That is so cool.
And he does it all dramatic and with lots of energy.
That is so cool.
And it's like, yeah, okay, let's go. And yeah, I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, like, because I'm thinking about, like, getting everybody in the same headspace, you know, and in that, like, energetic, let's go kick some ass headspace. And I wanted to do it for Hyperspace, but we didn't. But I was thinking back to when I was in sports and stuff, and it's like, it's almost like a group think or like a hypnotic...
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's amazing. Let's do it for the next show we play. Let's try it
I
on.
definitely needed it for Hyperspace because as we were in the green room listening to Lords of the Trident play, I was like, warming up and everything like that. And as I was warming up, I was like, why do the strings feel weird? I didn't change my fucking strings. Yeah.
Thank you, Randy, for that little comment or question, because that.
A good reminder.
Yeah. Ben asked, this is for Big Boss, would you like to do a Judicator concept album about Metal Gear? If so, which one?
Oh.
Or maybe not Judicator, but in general, would you like to do a Metal Gear?
Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't be a Judicator project, but I do have plans on doing a 2-part Metal Gear album.
Which Metal Gear?
Metal Gear Solid 3 for Jack, before he was named Big Boss. If you guys aren't familiar with the Metal Gear Solid timeline, Metal Gear Solid 3 was the prequel, and Big Boss was known as the villain for the first few games, and then when it came to Part 3, it actually went back into the 1960s, and you didn't realize until the end of the game that your character was the individual who eventually becomes Big Boss. And just the whole transition. I'll send you to a link if you guys are interested in actually.
I am.
I tell you what, I watch a full Metal Gear Solid video if you watch a Warhammer video.
Down.
We'll swap fluids. We'll swap
I'll swap with you anytime.
We'll swap
John.
creative fluids.
Let's see.
Yak Yak says, I'm trying to wrap my head around forgetting one's own lyrics. I honestly have questioned if I have a learning disability, and I am not kidding. I have wondered that. When I was a kid, my parents thought I had ADD, and I heard them talking about it, and they were going to give me some kind of test, like, all right, we're going to ask him to do 3 things, and if he can stay on task and get off. And so I was like, oh, well, now I'm on to you. So I made damn sure that I did it. So I don't know.
You cheated.
I don't know. It's like, even for Spiritual Treason, that song, for some reason, is just a son of a gun to remember.
Hulk said, I live in Austin, Texas, which is the live music capital of the world. There's all sorts of music scenes here, and y'all's bands would fit right in. I'd love to hear some tours show up here. I have played a few places in Texas with Helion Prime. I played in Dallas, Houston, and I think Austin. Yeah, it must have been Austin. I'm not a big fan of Texas, mainly because it's so hot and humid. It's awful for me. But the people that I've met in Texas have all been very, very
Awesome.
nice and gracious.
Chad, you are a vegan.
I am a vegan.
The
so
barbecue there is beyond anything I could ever begin to comprehend in Utah. There's nothing. Our best barbecue is like probably to a Texan a 3 or 4 out of 10. It's preposterous how good their barbecue is.
Have you had Kansas City barbecue? Because apparently there's a big feud between Kansas City and Texas over who has the better barbecue.
Wait, which Kansas City? Kansas City, Kansas? Or Kansas City?
No, the good Kansas City, whatever that one is.
Wow, way to be polarizing. Way to just alienate a whole potential fan base.
I've only been to one part of Kansas City a couple of times, and that's when I was playing there. But I don't remember which state
Dude,
I was in.
Missouri. That was the
Okay.
most humid show we ever did on that tour.
Was that the one where we had to play out? Was that the?
Where I waited outside and everybody else was in the green room.
And was there a show going on inside, and then we got pushed to outside?
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah. It sucked.
I played the tour I did before that one. We played inside, and it was much nicer. But
I remember you guys talking about it. Like everybody was like, "What the fuck's that?"
yeah,
There
We're
was
not gonna name the venue in case we play there later.
have any of you guys seen the movie Beer Fest?
yeah.
Travis says, but set group huddle, but set the phone down on the ground and group huddle, record and then post it. That would be so fun. And I think of the one they do in Beer Fest where he's like, "'Cause we're the bad guys and they're the good guys." It's really dumb and corny, but like I love it. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time is Beer Fest. So
Corrigan said, "Mr. Dead Rat added to the memory of the weekend."
with the Texas thing though, because now that I know Hullix is from Austin, if fingers crossed, wish upon a star, we get on Mad with Power next year, and we were to go like down to Tucson, and then like we could do like Dallas, Austin, Houston, or something, and then up to I don't know. It's like anytime we come through one of your towns or something, but especially if we come through Texas, let's get barbecue, BBQ, baby.
We'll
But what I'm saying is, like, all the people in the comments, like, let's, because somebody up there said, like, I'd like to get a beer with you or something. Like, yeah, let's go out for lunch, you know?
Travis asked, "Is Judicator ever going to play a Principium song live?"
No! The closest you'll get to that is I Am the Void. Because Songs of Experience by Principium, which... So, in Principium, I wrote The Echoing Green and Songs of Experience. And Songs of Experience has a very similar chorus to I Am the Void. And so that's the closest we'll ever get. I like Principium, but I would not want to play the music live, not because of anything personal, just because it's like Dysphoria, Principium, Hissingen, Trapmaker, like... Come on, guys. Let's keep it Judy.
Let's see. Fluid Swap.
Fluid Swap, yes. Fort Worth, Dallas, Cousins Barbecue. I might be in Houston this year.
That's not Dallas.
So if any of you are in or near Houston, I might be in Houston for a few days this year.
Caleb said the Carolinas have superior barbecue, and it's not even close.
Oh, shucks. Well, you know, as an avid eater, all I can say is I would love to be proven wrong, which means I just have to eat a lot of Carolina barbecue.
Yak Yak said I would go to lunch with you guys, except I am all the way in Florida.
We'll eat alligator.
Florida has the same problem for me as Texas. It's too hot and humid. But I've also only been in the panhandle of Florida. I've been to Pensacola, and that's it. I've never played a show in Florida, so I would love to get down there at some point. Go and see the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes.
friends.
Someday when we are in Florida, we will have to get food.
Oh yeah, the riff at the end of Half-Life.
Chunkatan, chunkatan, tan 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 tan.
Yeah,
That was so fun. Flamin' Parish. Oh hey, we got the big FI into chat. Yeah, when I, what is it, Galveston? Basically, it's like a work retreat, and Houston is like at the top of the list, and so we may be going there for 3 or 4 days. And if we are, I want to see the bats, because apparently, like, there's just an ass load of bats in Houston, and you go there at sundown, and they go squeeze, 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 squeeze. And I really want to see the bats. They apparently also in Houston have a funeral, or it's like a funeral museum, or it's some kind of museum about that, and I want to see that. But yeah, we'll also have to get food in Houston. Interesting, yeah. Caleb says he's from Missouri and still thinks the Carolina barbecue is better. I've not had Carolina barbecue. Changed my mind.
I have not either.
Any details, background on Nothing But Blood?
Nothing but butt blood is more like it. I finished my beer.
Oh.
Nothing But Blood is about Godfrey de Bouillon. I was interested when I was reading about his life. There was... so the Crusaders, they would go here, and they would lay siege. But how do you feed yourself? Well, they would go forage, they would go steal, whatever. You know, you gotta do it that way. And so I guess Godfrey de Bouillon and whoever he was out with, they were out foraging, and this pilgrim is like, oh, crud, a bear is attacking me, please help. And Godfrey de Bouillon was like, I got you, fam. And he pulls out his sword, and I guess they killed the bear. And so Nothing But Blood is basically just a really dramatized telling of that story of Godfrey de Bouillon stepping in to help a scavenging pilgrim in his struggle against surviving a bear attack. And apparently that attack, if I remember right, really injured him, and he was not able to participate in the siege of Jerusalem to a big extent. So, you know, that's also mentioned. Raining Gold is about... so I think it was the first wave of Crusaders. They traveled through Europe, and Raining Gold in particular is about one instance I read where the Crusaders came through a town and they were like, hey, yo, where are all your Jews? And they were like, right this way, sir. And they were like, hey, give us your money and resources. And they were like, seriously, bro? Yeah. And so they took all of the, they just robbed and beat and plundered the Jewish residents of that area. And it was really, I'm like, I don't want to say trivializing. I'm paraphrasing in a fun way, but I'm telling you that when I was reading it, it was a real downer. It was not a fun read. But yeah, they came in and they beat everybody up and they took all their stuff. And the song's title comes from this account of this family who was like they were at the top level of their house, I guess, and they were throwing out their gold and throwing out their belongings and stuff to like try to buy themselves time to like escape and run away. So they were like, shit, take this, so that they could get their family and dog or their photo albums. And there I go again, making fun. But yeah, it was, that's what Raining Gold is about.
Flame Imperishable said, so it's not about standing under a bridge and getting peed on then. Dang.
You know, that's
And Corrigan said, no, it's not an R. Kelly song.
That's subliminal. That's the... If you really read deep That's what the song is actually about.
All right. We've been going for over 2 hours, so we should probably start.
I really gotta pee.
That was a big beer, big boy beer.
I was in a bar at a venue once, and we were performing. I don't know if it was before or after, but I went in to pee, and the guy comes up and stands next to me, and he's like, "You know what they say, right? You don't buy it, you only rent it." Thank you.
Wow, okay. All right, so I think we're almost at 2.5 hours. I think we've exhausted ourselves and our bladders.
And our sanity.
Yeah, that too. So thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and asking all the questions, even though half of them were about dysphoria. Poor Big Boss.
Sorry, Big Boss.
Maybe we'll do more of these.
I think if we did something like this once per quarter, maybe. My only concern would be
dysphoria questions.
Yeah.
if we do it too much, then it's going to be diminishing returns, because it's not like we're Joe Rogan. We're not these huge, incredible conversationalists.
Yeah, if you guys want more live stream stuff, definitely head over to our Patreon, because we will be doing more frequent ones in there.
We are going to be doing this more on Patreon. The response here has been great, so I don't know. Maybe we do it again next quarter, and if that... I'm fine to keep doing it as long as there's an interest.
So yeah, check out our Patreon. Follow us on the socials. I'm sure you all do already.
Yeah, and Hullix, speaking of Austin, just the only thing I could say is pester Ty Christian about Judicator in 2025. Next time he makes a post about having a sandwich out at lunch or something, just be like, Judicator, can I see Judicator at MWP? ? Smiley face. Just bug him. I'm going to be reaching out to him in March. Anyway.
He's a busy boy.
He is a busy boy.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening or morning.
Appreciate you all being here.
We'll see you next time.
Fare thee